guys, welcome back. Since somebody asked and other people have kind of referenced getting into Wicca, I thought I would talk a little bit about being Wiccan. Now, please keep in mind, this applies to my experience and my thoughts only. This does not apply to every other Wiccan in the planet. We're pretty much the do as you will, as long as you're not hurting other people religion. We're not the you have to fill in list religion, even though some people will, of course, say you have to fill in this list or you're not a Wiccan. Um, Honestly, it's just a label anyone can give themselves. There's no test to become a witch. There's no test to become a Wiccan. Nobody comes to your house and puts their palm up to your forehead and reads your energy and says you are a witch or you are a Wiccan. Hey, you could probably find someone and pay them to do that if you'd feel better, but only you can say if you're a witch or a Wiccan, or only God or Goddess can say if you're a witch or Wiccan. It's nice to have the opportunity to join a coven or study magically that way, but it's not necessary. Most people are going to some people are going to strongly disagree. They're going to write very angry articles about how all these people who aren't in covens aren't Wiccans, or you're not a Wiccan unless you fulfill this list of obligations. And that's actually not what our religion is about. Our religion is about working with God and Goddess, or whomever you choose to work with. And it's a nature-based religion. It's about finding your path, finding your spirituality, and not hurting other people and not being jerk. That is it. All the holidays we have are entirely optional. They don't work for a lot of people. I've often said they are weeks to months off in my country. They were made centuries and centuries ago, you know, when they were celebrated at the solstices in another country. So they don't exactly apply over here. Like when the fall equinox came, the first properly full day we had was September 1st, and that is when I celebrated. And then when the fall equinox came, I celebrated, but it was hot. It flew outside. Cats were like this, and people weren't even going outside. That's not the day to go out and try to celebrate the first day of fall unless you're crazy. And I was like, no, I'm not even going outside. You kidding me? No. And due to the weather changes we've had in the last decade or so, it might be 80 here when it's Yule. It shouldn't be. There should be snow on the ground, or it should be trying to snow, but it might be 80 because the weather's crazy anymore. So, you know, weekends adapt. You can totally celebrate or not celebrate at all. The only rule we really have, I think I mentioned, this is like the third time I'm doing this because these powered down and I didn't realize it. Do whatever you want, anything at all, just so you're not hurting other people. And as I said in my article eons ago, don't hurt yourself. And, you know, don't hurt and hurt none, or don't hurt anyone. That applies to you too. So don't develop a practice where you are getting hurt in some way. We are not, traditionally speaking, we are not a practice that looks at starving oneself or hurting oneself physically or mentally as a good thing. We do not believe in that. We do not believe the gods put us here to suffer. We believe the gods put us here to develop, and you will find suffering enough in this life. Dear ones, you will. You do not have to invent suffering for yourself. And also, you know, we don't curse. Well, anyone can call themselves a Wiccan, so you probably meet Wiccans that curse people. But it's the reason traditional, I'd say I'm more traditional just because of my age, don't curse is because we know magic boomerangs. We do. We know that you could throw out a curse, a very efficient one, and it could boomerang and come back on you. Especially if you're working with a god or goddess to try this nonsense. And they find out that whatever you're trying to do is unjust. Ooh, girl, you go and get it now. And we also don't curse because many people believe in the threefold law, which means any energy you send out, good, bad, and different, is eventually going to come back to your doorstep. No, you don't have to agree with that either. because you can always pick, and people always pick non-Wiccan examples of, well, look at so-and-so, they were rotten their entire life and they had a great life, and look at so-and-so, they were nice their entire life and they had a sucky life. I say, one, it probably only applies to magical people, and two, I don't think it's a precise mathematical formula. Maybe the universe is totally random, we don't know. But I don't keep yourself up at night wondering about it. And really, there's no formal structure unless you want it. You can keep the holidays or not. You can keep an altar or not. You don't have to work with any god or goddess. We have some structure to, like, when you first come in, where, like, you have a god and you have a goddess, but some people will immediately go to the god-only path, which is valid. Some people go to goddess-only path. No one can tell you how to set up your altar. If you want to have Superman for the god and Wonder Woman for the goddess, and that is what makes you feel comfortable and able to relate to them, awesome. If you can't relate to them at this stage and you just want to be, do magic, and you don't want to relate to a god or goddess at this time, you're just too whatever, that's equally valid. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate comments for that, but if you're at that stage where you just need alone time, they understand. Now, it is a religion. We do believe there's divinity. We do believe, in treating nature well and being stewards of nature, and that nature is sacred. But nowadays, there are so many subsets of Wicca that would not apply to. Anyone can say they are a whatever and put Wicca in front of it. There's no Wiccan police that are going to stop them. You can meet people that call themselves Wiccan Satanist and worship the Christian Satan. You can meet people that call themselves Wiccan whatever and they worship whatever. And it really doesn't matter as long as they're practicing the religion in a way that doesn't hurt other people. Now, if they start hurting other people in their traditional sense, they're no longer Wiccan. If they want to be traditional Wiccans, then, they can't hurt people. It's a thing. It's one of our laws. We don't hurt people, basically, honestly, not only because we're decent people, but because it's not fair. It's like if you were a 12th grader and you picked on a kindergartner. That's not fair. You're nearly an adult and you're picking on a baby. It's the same exact thing for picking on other people because, they made you mad or something. We don't use our magic for that. It's bullying is what it is. It's not fair, it's not right, and we also don't, unlike other magical traditions, we don't force people to do stuff by magic. We won't cast a love spell to make someone love you. We will not, you can cast for love in a general way, but specific love spells always backfire. They do, trust me. And we can't, just hurt someone because you think they're a jerk. You can bind bad guys. Like if you have a very bad person going around your town hurting people, by all means, bind and banish these people. But you don't just decide because the neighbor is a schmuck and every day at 4 a.m. wakes you up by revving his Harley, you're going to do something terrible to the Harley. No, you have to be an adult and go over and say, hey, unless you're going to work, I don't appreciate hearing this at 4 a.m. every morning because you wake me up. I'm a light sleeper. And if he won't reach a compromise with you, if he's going to work, you just have to learn to deal with it. But let's say he just goes out there and does it for some random reason and he's a jerk and he won't reach compromise with you, then you go to the law and you say, hey, this person's, making a nuisance of themselves at 4 a.m. It's not work related. I talked to him and he said, whatever. So, magic is usually the last recourse. You then would put it in goddess's hands or whoever you work with. If you work with Loki, for example, you put it in Loki's hands. And the usual answer you get in prayer or magic, because magic is just fancy prayers, is yes, no, or wait. Those are usually the 3 answers you get. Yes, something's going to happen. No, nothing can be done. You kind of have to learn to deal, or wait. Wait and see what happens. So I hope that helps. And those are just my beliefs. Every Wiccan on the planet is not going to agree with them. It's just like every witch is not a Wiccan, and every Wiccan does not feel that they are a witch. It's all just, it's titles. It's fine. Don't get excited. You don't have to have a title. You don't have to have the label Wiccan if you don't like it. You don't have to have the label witch or pagan or anything else. I'd say only take it if you're comfortable and it helps, you know, identify in the community or identify yourself. You don't have to put labels on yourself. But yeah, that's about it. It's like as basic brass tacks as you can get. It's just your relationship with divinity and learning to grow as a human being, which is a lifelong process. It is. You don't stop. You don't reach a period where you are high imperial priestess of whatever because you know everything. You never will. I don't care if you've lived 500 lifetimes. You never will. It just, we keep growing. We keep growing and we keep evolving. Just as our gods keep learning and growing and evolving and learning new things. They're not static and set in amber. They do change and grow as we grow and adapt to our new abilities. The gods that would deal with Ward now are going to look at it very vastly differently, for example, than they would have looked at it when we only had stones to throw at each other. So, there you go. That's my 2 cents. So, if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later, and blessed be.